A woman entered the royal banquet hall, her radiant golden hair and beautiful smile captivating the attention of every noble present. Murmurs spread through the hall. Isn't she the princess of the Zeldia Empire? She's the one who leashed the tyrant. And look how beautiful she is. A white-haired man extended his hand to support her as she walked forward. She thanked Madvik for his help, and he bowed respectfully. She was the female lead, Princess Lottie's Aldwin of the Zeldia Empire. With blue eyes and golden hair, her beauty was beyond comparison. Every noble stared at her in amazement. They whispered, "Wasn't the rumor that she was a terrifying villainess? But she appears elegant and graceful." Today she was truly happy. She had never expected that one day she would attend such an international gathering as the representative of the Empire. The Zeldia Empire boasted the greatest prosperity on the continent of Elred. It was also known as the Land of the Gods. She was the daughter of Empress Magnus, the Emperor's first wife. However, her childhood had been dark. After her mother's death, she lived under the Emperor's cruel rule. Meanwhile, her stepmother and stepbrothers enjoyed a life of luxury. Her father forced her to create healing potions endlessly, even when she was ill. She had inherited powerful healing abilities from her mother, and now she was forced to use them for the Emperor's benefit. Her stepmother even banned her from appearing in public, ordering her to do something useful instead. While her stepmother and siblings neglected their royal duties, they forced all administrative work onto her shoulders. Yet when the public praised the kingdom's wonderful policies, the credit went to the crown prince. They claimed it was merely what was expected of the royal family. The crown prince took all the credit for the office work she had desperately completed. As for her stepsister, she mocked her openly, saying the crown prince would prefer a young woman like herself. Her fiancé was stolen just before their wedding. She lost her chance to marry the crown prince and was ridiculed as a past-her-prime decoration princess. Even the maids and butlers looked down on her. She had been lonely and hopeless, but now, she radiated pure and boundless joy. On the other side of the hall, a black-haired man entered. The nobles grew frightened. He was the one who had conquered the entire Zeldia Empire through slaughter, a plunderer without blood or tears. The Tyrant Prince, Prince Yahello Ray Ataraxia, now the new emperor of the Zeldia Empire. He had deep eyes and a dark, majestic aura. The nobles trembled as they noticed how joyfully Princess Lottie's was speaking with Prince Yahello. Perhaps the rumors were true, that she had truly leashed that terrifying man. She was happy he had come to the banquet. However, Prince Yahello remained alert, carefully observing the surroundings. She gently told him, "You don't have to be so on guard. The security here is the best in the world." Still, he refused to lower his guard. She softly rubbed his face and reassured him, "No one is going to harm you. Please relax." After seeing her beautiful smile, he finally agreed. He held her hand and slowly leaned into her touch. Then, in a move that astonished everyone, he pulled her closer and declared, "There's no harm in being careful in crowded places. You will stay by my side." The entire hall was stunned. Madvik, the white-haired man, did not look pleased. Suddenly, two ladies pointed toward the entrance. Another man entered the banquet, a handsome nobleman in a stunning, regal uniform. He was from the Lusitani Empire. Crown Prince Zephius Vercraig of the Lusitani Empire. Zephius declared boldly, "She is the one who will become my wife. I will not allow anyone to touch her so freely." As Lottie's greeted him, Zephius gently took her hand from Prince Yahello and kissed it, making her blush. "You look even more beautiful today," he said. The crowd was in shock. Had she courted Crown Prince Zephius as well? Prince Yahello's expression darkened. He immediately pulled her hand back and embraced her possessively. A cold tension filled the banquet hall. The two men glared at each other angrily, as if a fierce battle between an eagle and a panther could erupt at any moment. Their hands hovered near their swords. Lottie's quickly stopped them. "You're frightening everyone," she said calmly. Both men withdrew their hands from their weapons. The nobles were astonished. They were obeying her every word. Just then, the white-haired man grabbed her hand and wiped it with a handkerchief, once again creating a tense situation. Lottie's knew that depending on whom she chose to marry, the balance of power in the world could be completely redrawn in an instant. After some time, beautiful music filled the banquet hall. Nobles began to dance and sing. As she walked through the crowded ballroom, She thought about the future of the Zeldia Empire and its people. She had to choose the best path forward. Suddenly, both Prince Diavel and Crown Prince Zephyus raised their hands toward her, silently inviting her to dance. She had to choose. Crown Prince Zephyus for Craig of the Lusitani Empire, whose future intentions remained unknown. Prince Diavel, the emperor who had conquered Zeldia through bloodshed. Or the mysterious white-haired man, whose true identity was still unknown. In this critical moment, she had to choose the right path. And we will see what happens in the future. In the past, a founding festival was held in the Zeldia Empire. It was the day the empire had been established. The emperor, along with his family, took part in a sacred parade through the city, where citizens cheered for the imperial family and enjoyed the celebration. The emperor of the Zeldia Empire, Magnus Aldwin, delivered a speech, saying, "Guardians of the proud Zeldia Empire and your families, today our nation has reached the glorious milestone of 8 years. The empress stood beside him, adding splendor and glory to the festival. The first and second princes also captivated much attention from the crowd. However, most of the attention gathered around the second princess, Lisa. Her beauty and charm were mesmerizing. People whispered, "Look at the emperor's second princess. How beautiful she is." They failed to notice another figure standing beside her. She was the first princess, Lotties Aldwin. Dressed like a commoner, she attracted little attention from the crowd. She received neither love nor affection, yet she acted as if it were normal. She thought it would be better to go home, as there was no one who cared about her. The second princess, Lisa, was very happy to see her sister in such a state. No one cheered for Lotties, and no one recognized her. Princess Lotties had been born to the former empress, a woman from a minority group. Because of this, she was oppressed by her own family and looked down upon by the citizens. She was forced to wear shabby clothes. Still, she refused to let her spirit break. She smiled, determined to preserve the dignity of a princess. Her smile was so elegant that people stared at her with confusion. The emperor shouted, "People, this splendor is the fruit of your sacrifice and courage. For the prosperity and future of the empire, let us join hands and walk forward together." But Lotties knew the truth. Her father relentlessly pursued expansion and failed to see that the people were suffering because of the wars. Many had become homeless and fallen into poverty. Soldiers who had lost limbs in battle were cast aside like garbage. Princess Lotties wanted to help them, but as an ornamental princess, she had no power to do anything. Among the crowd, a group of children suddenly shouted, "Princess Lotties!" and ran toward the carriage. A soldier saw them and yelled, trying to send them away. He even hurt one of the children, warning them not to get any closer. A white-haired man stopped him and said not to hurt children recklessly. He offered his hand to the injured child and asked if she was all right and what business she had with Princess Lotties. He was Meldic Elias, the captain of the royal guard of the Zeldia Empire. The child said she was fine and that she had brought something to give to Princess Lotties. Princess Lotties saw them and was surprised. Nina and the others had come to see her. They were children from the orphanage she had visited during her volunteer work. After the emperor's speech ended, Lotties thought it would be fine to step down from the carriage and meet them. Meldic smiled and reached out his hand to help her down. But someone watched the scene with jealousy. The children happily gathered around Princess Lotties. She asked them why they had come. They told her they had noticed she was the only princess not wearing a tiara, so they decided to make one for her. They had crafted a crown of flowers, so beautiful that it amazed her. Her eyes filled with tears of joy. She was deeply touched by their present and thanked them warmly, saying they had done a wonderful job. Suddenly, someone pushed Princess Lotties from behind. The flower crown slipped from her hands and fell to the ground. As she tried to pick it up, someone stepped on her hand. It was her stepsister, Lisa. She intentionally stomped on Lotties' hand. Lisa looked disgusted and demanded to know what she thought she was doing. She cast a hateful glare at the children and cursed them, calling them lowly gutter rats of inferior blood. Princess Lisa grew more irritated as Lotties tried to protect the flower crown. She repeatedly stomped on Lotties, injuring her hand badly, and warned her not to lower the dignity of the imperial family. Suddenly, the children grabbed Princess Lisa's leg to stop her. Unable to tolerate it, she cursed them again, telling them to stay away from her. Her brothers arrived and asked what the commotion was about. Lisa told them that filthy gutter rats were clinging to her and refusing to let her go. Seeing this, one of her brother's eyes darkened with disgust. He drew his sword, ready to kill the children. Princess Lottie's noticed just in time. As her stepbrother raised his sword, she rushed forward and embraced the child to shield him. Her stepbrother ordered her to move away, but she refused. In anger, he kicked her violently, knocking her to the ground. Even so, she managed to protect the child. The child trembled in fear, but Lottie's felt relieved that he was unharmed. Then Princess Lisa came behind her and whispered, "Don't you dare break your promise to father." At that moment, the emperor arrived and angrily demanded to know why they were causing trouble during the sacred parade. Princess Lisa told the emperor that Princess Lottie's had attempted to disobey him. Upon hearing this, the emperor became furious. Without hesitation, he kicked Princess Lottie's directly in the face. The impact was so powerful that she spat blood from her mouth. He grabbed her by the hair and pulled her up, shouting that he had repeatedly and strictly warned her that no one must know about her. He ordered the knights to kill all the children to teach her a lesson. The people around them watched in silence, unable to raise their voices. The emperor forced her to watch as the knights prepared to kill the children. She trembled, unable to understand what she could do to protect them. Because of her, innocent lives would once again pay the price. She remembered how, in the past, her father had beaten her brutally for using her power without his permission. That day, he had punished and killed her wet nurse in front of her. She had cried in guilt because of her. Anna had died. Princess Lottie's had sworn she would never let something like that happen again. She begged, "Please, father, stop this." As the knights captured all the children and waited for the emperor's command, a knight asked the emperor what they should do with the other orphans. "Kill every single one of them," the emperor replied coldly. Meldick shouted, "Your Majesty, if we delay any longer, the start time of the celebratory feast will be affected." The emperor stopped the massacre, unwilling to waste more of his time on them. He forcefully threw Princess Lottie's to the ground and said that this time he would spare them, but next time, he would make sure she would never act on her own again. The emperor left. Meldick wanted to help her, but he was helpless in front of the emperor's authority. Still, this time he had managed to save the children. Princess Lottie's lay on the ground, badly injured, crying in despair. Her eyes became lifeless. After some time, she slowly returned to the imperial palace, moving carefully because of her injuries. Despite everything, she felt happy because the children were safe. However, the flower crown they had made for her was broken. She decided she would take everything up to the attic, fold paper cranes, and press the flowers into bookmarks. When the bookmarks were finished, she would bring sweets to the children as a thank you gift. Suddenly, she heard a loud scream that caught her attention. The scream had come from the banquet hall. She placed the broken flower crown into her bag and rushed toward the banquet hall. As she approached, she noticed an unnatural silence. No one was there, not even the royal guards who had been stationed at the entrance. What had happened in the middle of the feast? She slowly pushed the door open. The banquet hall was covered in darkness. As she stepped forward, her foot stumbled over something, and she fell to the ground. Her hand touched something wet. When she looked at her hand, it was covered in blood. Her heartbeat quickened in fear. What was happening here? Princess Lottie's looked further and saw that the banquet hall was filled with the dead bodies of knights. She saw her stepsister lying lifeless. Not only her stepsister, but her stepmother and brothers were also dead. Her breath became heavy as fear took over. Who did this? How could someone do this? Among the bodies, Meldick was still alive, though severely injured. He called out to her weakly. She rushed to his side and asked if he could hear her. She saw a deep wound in his chest. He was gravely injured. The sight reminded her of her wet nurse, Anna. Meldick suddenly coughed up blood. He was at death's door. With his remaining strength, he told her to run away and save her life before losing consciousness. Crying, Princess Lottie's begged him not to leave her alone. She didn't want to lose him. Desperate, she used her healing magic on him. He regained consciousness as his injuries slowly began to heal. Meldick was astonished. The wound was closing instantly. Princess Lottie's cried tears of joy, relieved that she had saved him. But Meldick urgently told her, "Princess Lottie's, you must leave the castle immediately. This is a military invasion. All the royal guards have been subdued by only a few foreigners. Princess Lotties realized that someone powerful must have invaded the castle. They were strong enough to wound the Empire's strongest swordsman like this. Suddenly, someone delivered a powerful kick to the Emperor, sending him flying. The kick was devastating. An unknown figure, a sword in his hand, walked toward the Emperor. Princess Lotties was shocked by the sight, but Meldick again urged her to run. A man with black hair, clad in black armor, approached the Emperor, who was unable to move due to his severe injuries. The man's dark red eyes burned with rage and bloodlust. Princess Lotties froze in place after seeing the dark aura surrounding him. He was covered in blood, a haunting duality in his expression, eyes blazing with rage and revenge. He was Yahello Rey Ataraxia. On the upper level stood a trembling emperor, begging for his life. Below him lay his imperial knights and family members, brutally killed. And it had all been led by a child, a boy standing boldly against the emperor. The emperor of Zeldia, the greatest nation on the continent of Elred, had knelt before a boy who looked no older than a new recruit. Princess Lotties was horrified by the scene. Is this the end for me too? Emperor Magnus noticed her and suddenly thought of an idea. He told the boy, "She is the one who can solve the problem you are struggling with." Then he ordered Princess Lotties to come over. She stood frozen, trembling in fear. Meldick, however, told her not to go and urged her to save her life first. Meanwhile, a man in dark attire watched everything from a balcony. He had seen how Princess Lotties healed the injured knight earlier. He went to Lord Yahello and told him everything he had witnessed. As the Emperor attempted to escape, Lord Yahello slashed his knee. He told him, "First, I will check whether what you said is true. Until then, stay quiet here." Lord Yahello then walked toward Princess Lotties. He grabbed her by the neck and ordered her to come with him. Meldick tried to save her, but he was severely injured and unable to move. When he attempted to interfere, he was easily subdued by an enemy knight. Lord Yahello dragged Princess Lotties into a room and threw her to the ground. First, the Emperor and his family had tormented her, now Lord Yahello. What would happen to her next? Her heart raced so loudly that even Lord Yahello could hear it. She could smell the stifling scent of blood on him. He was covered from head to toe in splattered blood, looking terrifying. The parts of his skin not stained with blood were startlingly pale. His gaze was sharp, almost frightening, and his eyes were so clear it felt as though anyone could be drawn into them. It was the first time she had truly looked at him. Even covered in blood, he looked unbelievably handsome. As she found herself momentarily captivated by his appearance, he suddenly pulled out his sword. "Come back to reality, princess," he said coldly. He removed parts of his armor and abruptly grabbed her neck again, slamming her to the ground. Then he raised his sword and struck downward with powerful force. The blade did not pierce her. Instead, it lodged itself beside her neck. For a moment she saw death. "Stay silent," Lord Yahello warned. Then, to her shock, he removed his shirt in front of her. Embarrassed, she tightly shut her eyes. When she opened them again, she was stunned. Lord Yahello's body was covered in dark marks. Even though his skin was bruised with dark bluish wounds, his physique was well built. Looking closer, she realized these were incurable wounds. A memory surfaced from her childhood. Her father had once shown her a sword covered in darkness. He had slashed a soldier with it and told her she had the ability to create such a cursed sword. She had been terrified. The nanny had stepped forward, insisting that Princess Lotties did not possess such a power. But the Emperor had kicked her and ordered her to remain silent. As Lotties tried to run away, the injured soldier had grabbed her leg, begging her to kill him instantly. The curse was spreading across his body, and the pain was unbearable. To make a strong, sturdy soldier suffer so greatly from a single stab, such a horrific wound that it made them cry and beg for death, was terrifying. Yet Lord Yahello had endured this for years and remained sane. How strong must his endurance be? How long has he been enduring this pain? As the pain surged through him, Lord Yahello threw a sofa aside to control his anger. "Heal me," he commanded. "If you can't, I will kill you." Not wanting to see him suffer like that, Princess Lotties decided to help him. Lord Yahello lay down on the sofa. She explained that in order to fully unleash her healing power, she needed direct physical contact with his body. She timidly asked for permission to touch him. "Don't ask permission for everything," he replied impatiently. "Just hurry and heal me." She gently placed her hand on his body. His entire form trembled. Even the slightest touch caused him immense pain. Realizing this, she became even more careful, touching him as gently as possible to avoid worsening his suffering. If it was truly an incurable wound, even her powers might not be able to heal him completely. Still, she resolved to do her best. She began to heal him. A golden light emanated from her body, growing so bright that even Lord Yahello could not see clearly. Yet he remained on guard. Her healing magic slowly subdued the dark marks. Lord Yahello screamed in pain, though he bit down to hide any weakness. Gradually, his breathing steadied, and his body began to relax. His gaze remained fixed on Princess Lottie's. He observed her carefully. How beautiful she looked even while injured. Her golden hair, her pearl-like eyes, and the positive aura surrounding her captivated him. His heart began to beat faster. Finally, I found it. Suddenly, during the healing process, he intentionally grabbed her and pulled her down. In an instant, the atmosphere shifted from healing to something entirely different. He pinned her beneath him. She lay on the ground while Lord Yahello hovered above her, the distance between them shrinking with every second. She was shocked by his sudden action. He stared into her eyes as he leaned closer and closer. The closeness between them reached its limit. At that moment, anything could happen. And here the video ends. What will happen between them next? Will Lord Yahello kiss her? Will Meldick be able to save Princess Lottie's from Lord Yahello? See you in the next part. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.